right, rational and irrational numbers. Irrat versus irrat is what I like to call it. Okay. We actually talked about this yesterday. So we were discovering fractions. We talked about rational numbers. So rational numbers are numbers that can be written as fractions, or what do you think we're going to fill in the blank with? Decimals. Okay. What kind of decimals did we talk about yesterday? What was the title of our activity? Chloe. Terminating or repeating and terminating, however you want to say that. Okay? So fractions and decimals, decimals that terminate, decimals that repeat. Also, the square roots of, what do you think we're going to put in there? Perfect squares. So if you have a fraction, if you have a decimal that terminates or repeats, or if you have the radical sign with a number underneath it that is a perfect square, remember this is the radical sign, okay? Those are all what we call rational numbers. Now, if those are rational, can we use the prefix IR, because that's what makes the word irrational? What does IR mean? You guys know the prefix IR? Responsible, irresponsible. Sophia? Not. Okay? You're not responsible. So it's rational and irrational. This means they're not rational. Okay? So, rational numbers are numbers that can be written as fractions. Guess what? Irrational numbers cannot be written as a fraction. Okay? Irrational numbers include non-repeating and non-terminating decimals. So if it doesn't repeat and it doesn't terminate, what kind of decimal are we talking about here? Well, there are decimals, but they won't repeat and they won't terminate. Does anybody happen to know a common decimal that doesn't repeat and doesn't terminate? Marshmallow question. Everybody's attention. A common decimal that doesn't repeat and doesn't terminate. Tyler. Not 0. Jack. Nope, that terminates. Carter.
17.
Nope, that terminates. That terminates. That terminates. I already called on you guys. Dang it. Parker. Pi. What is pi? 3.14157,926, yada, yada, yada. It never repeats and it doesn't ever stop. Pi is the most common irrational number. Okay, so if you want to, you can put pi there. It is stressful. Most of the time, the decimals that are irrational will come from our last statement here. So we said rational numbers were square roots of perfect squares. So irrational numbers are going to be square roots of non-perfect squares. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe if you wouldn't have asked.
We're in the middle of the podcast.
We are. So a lot of your non-repeating, non-terminating decimals will come from non-perfect squares. So when you have the radical sign with a number underneath that is not a perfect square, more than likely you're going to end up with a decimal that's not going to repeat and not going to terminate. Okay? We're recording right now. Okay, so what I'd like for you to do is get your calculator out. Let's try one more. Give me a 3-digit non-perfect square. 3-digit number that's not a perfect square. 398 is the number that's getting thrown out. So, go through the process. It's what? It's not repeating. And it doesn't terminate, right? Okay. All right, so let's put this to practice. And this is where we'll end today, and I'll give you your practice problems for tomorrow. All right? Rational or irrational? -12. What would be your guess? Rat or irrat? Olivia says rat.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say.
Why would -12 be rational? Why would -12 be rational? Isaiah?
Because it's just like the opposite of dividing positive 12.
Okay, it's opposite of dividing +12. Go back up to your definitions here. What does it say a terminating or a rational number can be? Can be written as a fraction? Can I write -12 as a fraction? How? Okay. Pi. Chloe? Irrational. What's a good explanation for why a number is irrational? Chloe?
It's non-repeating number.
Okay. 6/10. Rational or irrational? Only 2 people know. Carter, what's your guess?
Irrational.
Irrational for 6/10. Tinley, what's your guess? Irrational. Riley, what's your guess? Rational. Ty? Rational. Abby? Not sure. What are our definitions? Fractions or decimals, decimals that terminate, repeat, decimals that don't terminate or repeat. Does this decimal terminate or repeat? Terminates. Where did we write terminating? Rational. So this one's rational. So what is a good explanation? Tyler? Terminating decimal. All right, we're going to skip 7/8 for a minute. We're going to go to point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, ... What does ... mean? That continues on in that series. Okay? So, Chloe, what would your guess be?
Irrational.
She says irrational. You guys agree? Okay, so why are you agreeing that it's irrational? Hope?
Irrational.
Is it repeating or does it mean it just keeps going? So if it's going in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what would the next couple numbers be? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, even though it's in a decimal, are any of those digits in a repeating series? No. So it is irrational and it's non-repeating, non-terminating. All right, we're going to stop there for today on our notes. We'll pick this up again tomorrow.